Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms, and I'm joined here again, a full house. We've got Devin Circus, Jake Circus of the Jake Circus podcast, Heath and his son Riley, Mr. Sports Balls himself, and this is the Week 8 recap of Jungle Talk. Yeah,
Who day, baby?
Who day? Hey, before we do anything, we'll toot the horns first. We get the classic Mighty Ducks quacker. And the super expensive party horn because it's a win today. We went into San Francisco coming off the bye. A hearty hoo day to everybody. If you got one, drink them. I guess it's just me and you, Devin.
All right, I went tequila for you.
Mm-hmm. Don Julio. There you go. So
I got Casamigos.
There you go. Hey, support Clooney. So all good. So, boy, I'll tell you, this game was we came out firing on all cylinders. Looked like we were going to do the double dip and really make a statement before half. And then I thought, oh no, here we go. Because we completely dominated. At one point, we had 14 first downs. The Niners had only run 14 plays. I mean, we should not have gone into the locker room only up 4. And it looked like, and then Irv Smith.
Hold on, Mark. We've been calling for an Irv Smith sighting for months now.
Yeah, he can go.
And we got it. And then obviously that happens.
I believe that on the show on the preview we were talking about Irv Smith, and I was sitting here saying they're not going to dial up plays for Irv Smith. What do they do in the biggest red zone play? They dial up for a tight end screen for Irv Smith.
And what does he do?
And what guys fumbles. Guys fumble. It happens, but
I know.
Like the Bengals have had their history of red zone problems, and it's because of that reason. Like when it wasn't Irv Smith, it was they a couple of years ago they did a red zone play to Drew Sample and he dropped it and got intercepted or whatever. Like some Samaje Perine getting red zone carries 2 years ago. Like I don't get it, man.
I'm gonna say 2 things real quick though before we get started. I get a text from Devin. You did too, Mark.
Yes.
Prediction before the game started: 28 of 37. He actually finished, I think, 28 for 32.
Yep.
332 for 3. I think he went 283 for 3.
Right. No, it was
pretty nice call. And
sharp.
I don't remember who it was. Somebody one of you tweeted out the picture of what Burrow was wearing coming off the bus. And
That's
I think
right.
Jake commented the last time he went NASA, he went all world on us and did it again today.
Yeah, it was a thing of beauty. Hey, before I forget, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the alerts, and help us out with the thumbs up. And Jake, tell them where they can find all your stuff because you do some great podcasts, including giving us ASU and Arizona money lines. Thank you. So go ahead.
We had Kentucky too, and
I know
that was they had it. Best Devin Leary game of the season. You know, like. I like the wins, but I'm much more pissy about the losses than I am excited about the wins. And I really wanted to go 3-0 on the show. And Joe Milton couldn't be a pumpkin on Halloween last night. So, but we'll take the 2-1. Jake Circus podcast, Spotify, Monday, Wednesday. Gambling show is probably on a little bit of a hiatus right now, just because my weeks are crazy busy around Fridays. But Monday, Wednesday, NFL, college football, great time of year. My Oregon Ducks 28-1 to win the national championship is now down to 10-1. So we're living after a big win in Salt Lake yesterday. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
your Oregon Ducks.
I'm going to add on to Jake's.
If you put money on them, they're his Oregon Ducks, okay?
Oh, they're my Oregon
money
Ducks.
Where your mouth is, then it becomes your bet. So
Devin,
I give him that.
I've got to add on before we've got to let Riley say where we find him, but I got to add on to Jake's Arizona play. We were down in Tucson in the old Pueblo last night for the game, had an absolute blast. Jake's younger brother absolutely loves U of A. By now, you know, Heath and I are alum. Big win against the 11th ranked Oregon State. All I'm going to say is it's a lot harder getting on the field at 49 years old than it was at 20. Took Brady on the field. We had a blast, got a picture on the A at the 50-yard line with several thousand U of A students. Great night, bear down.
Did you get to Storm when you were a student?
Yeah, when we beat number 1 ranked Washington.
I was going to say, was that the Washington game? Before you said it, I had a feeling. That was the Ortegs Jenkins flip into the end zone?
No. That was
No?
in Washington 5 years later. That was
All right.
Desert Swarming. So was
Right.
Joe Hobart.
Let's let Riley tell us where he can find him on Twitter. Go ahead, Riley.
I'm on Twitter at sportsball with 3 L's at the end. Sorry about the echo. My roommate is asleep, so I had to find a spot in the hall. But
There you go.
I love it.
Freshman of
Dedication.
college, man.
That's dedication. So, all right. Well, you know what? We could throw out our comments about the game. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, we had the Irv Smith play. It wasn't, but today, Burrow was dropping dimes. I mean, just his passes. He was on his game. And Mixon was running with purpose, which is why the Irv Smith fumble bothered me so much. Why didn't we just hand the ball to Mixon, have him look like he was running up the middle, bounce it to the outside, and it's a score going into the locker room. So, but Mixon really, really ran with purpose today. Our run game looked the best it's looked all year, and we did it in San Francisco against one of the best run defenses in football. So,
Mark, if the worst that we're talking about this game, which it might have been, was Irv Smith's fumble, it was a hell of a day. I'll tell you, the one thing that scared the living shit out of me until they came back out of the timeout was the non-contact, so we thought, on Hendrickson.
oh yeah.
That was the one where I was like, oh God. I sent the pray emojis to Riley during that game, but then they came back and saw that he had gotten stepped on. I figured the worst it was 2 weeks, if anything.
Yep. And
Yeah,
Cam Taylor-Britt left the game and he came back.
Yeah.
All Hendrickson did, by the way, after coming back on the field, is dominate Trent Williams for an entire half, by the way. That's all he
Williams
did.
didn't play. But...
Trent Williams didn't play. You
Oh,
knew
he didn't
that.
play?
No, he didn't play. He was out.
You knew that.
How did I not know that?
He was
You
out.
knew
was
it.
one of
You
those
knew it on the
guys.
previous show.
That doesn't make any sense.
But he
Wait, so why was he
dominated
getting?
whoever was there. And
I think you meant to
that-
say dominated Trent Williams backup.
Yes, there you
Well,
go.
then it's much less impressive because he was locked down before the injury, and I was like, I was watching the game and I was like, damn, Trent Williams is really beating Trey Hendrickson. Shit, I had no idea that was the backup. I did not know he was out.
And the and
That's
I
great.
had here because I just make notes as the game's going on. I had Bengals score on first 2 drives. Everything's going great until Trey Hendrickson hurts his ankle. But once again, he was back out there before half. It wasn't after half. He came back.
I know I'm usually I know I'm Debbie Downer, but I'm going to mention a couple things here that we have been talking about for a month, 2 months. Frank Pollock's team, that was the best the line has showed up today.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
No doubt that was the best they showed today.
Yes.
It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt that your quarterback on that first drive where he was sacked 3 different times and never went down twice, whatever. And then Riley texts me. He goes, "Joe is back."
Yeah.
And then you know what? The defensive line, the run defense was pretty solid today.
Yeah.
They held McCaffrey under 4.5 a carry. Exactly 4.5 a carry. Then they were trailing the whole game, so McCaffrey only got 12 touches. I can go in deeper about kind of what went wrong with the passing defense. It's been struggling all year, but the turnovers are great. You guys mentioned Mixon. Mixon has revitalized his career this year. Mark, you and I were talking about it in the offseason when they drafted Chase Brown. It's like, this might be Mixon's last year. He looks like he's lost his legs, and he came to play. He was a beast in camp. Has been fantastic this year. And the offensive line all year struggled in run blocking. The pass protection has been actually pretty solid all year. Burrow's just been really hurt, so it hasn't really shown up.
Right.
But the run blocking today was fantastic. I mean, Bosa, Armstead, Greenlaw, like those guys did nothing today against Mixon. It was 4 or 5 yards every time. Mixon 5.4 carry on 15 carries. Like that's going to win us games.
Oh yeah.
Even when we know that George Kittle is going to have all of the catches for them, we still left him open and can't cover the tight end. But what are you going to do?
Hey, you know what? Give our linebackers some props. I mean, Pratt had the big interception. Logan,
that was massive
interception. I mean,
that was yucky.
That interception was huge in the red zone. I mean, it kind of offset the fact that we gift wrapped, a non-score with the fumble. We just took one back inside the 10. That was the heady play by Pratt.
Yeah, Bengals fans know how good Pratt and Wilson are, and the world is finding that out this year. I mean, with Pratt coming back and Wilson getting extended, those guys are here for the long haul.
Oh yeah.
Zach just said it in the press conference. There's a lot of good linebacker duos out there, and we wouldn't trade our guys for anybody.
No.
And
Wow.
he's right.
A lot of people were surprised when Pratt got that big first contract. Not first contract, that big re-sign contract. If I'm not mistaken, that was our first signing of the entire offseason.
It was.
On day one.
Looks like it's worth its weight in gold. Couple of things I wanted to point out tonight. We've touched, Joe Burrow, Heath and Riley, you guys said it. Joe Burrow's back. This was the Joe Burrow game. This is the kind of game, if this was a rookie or somebody coming back, he's coming back from injury. This was the Joe Burrow game. And the 3 plays that tells everybody that they're going to run all night on SportsCenter and NFL Tonight. It was one of you touched on the scramble when he was sacked 2 or 3 times on the first drive.
Yeah.
And still completed the pass. I believe it was the next drive, the 3rd and 9. I don't know if he audibled into it or called it. I can't imagine it was called 3rd and 9. It had to have been audible because Romo even said how wide open the space was.
Oh, yeah.
3rd and 9
design quarterback run.
They're not running that play any point this season up until this game. And he did the same thing. I want to say it was I know it was 4th quarter. It might have been on the last touchdown drive or the drive before where he picked up 10 or 12 on a 3rd and 8.
Yeah.
Those three plays show the world Joe Burrow's back.
I would like to see him take the slide once you picked up those yards instead of taking the hit for a half a yard.
There was one he couldn't. It's probably the one you're talking about. He couldn't because he was rumbling and there were guys there.
He was rumbling, and if he goes down, we don't get the first down. He was headed to the first down marker, and he was going to go head first. He took the shot from the side, but and I do the same thing. I kind of wince. Get up, when you see him spring back up. So
and then you see him doing this. Let's go.
Oh, he was balling.
Fired up today.
Six for 43, couple of first down scrambles. The draw is a check. That's Burrow. Burrow checked into that.
You're not going to call
that
from the sideline.
Because he did it all year last year when we were moving. That's a check. So Burrow sees that because Romo was talking about it after that because they were rushing so wide and the hole was wide open with no spy. They were in man-to-man defense across the board in 3rd and long, and they were sending bull rushes outside, and the space was wide open. Joe saw it pre-snap. That's what he does.
The one other point I wanted to make, play calling was really, really good today. I know we like the Irv Smith. The one that Jake and I were texting after the Logan Wilson interception? Yeah, after the Logan Wilson interception, first play, the old mantra, go for the jugular after a turnover. It was the fake screen, and Jake and I texting, he commented, and he's 100% right. We were going to that screen all game long. We've been using that a ton all year. Fake the screen. Jamar was wide open. Yeah. And then the big thing is I was scared to death when we went up 14 with probably, 12 or 13 minutes left. They picked up chunks on their first 3 plays. I texted a buddy of mine. They're up 13 minutes left. They're moving the ball. I said, the scariest thing for me right now, they're clearly going to go down and score right here. But if we go 3 and out and give them the ball back with 7 minutes left, I'm scared to death. We took the ball. We wound up getting the ball back with, I don't know, maybe 8-9 minutes left. And we came out throwing. We were methodical. We were aggressive. We were smart. There were no risks taken, but we threw the ball. We were aggressive. And we wound up scoring a touchdown and ending the game rather than where we've been for so long, too conservative, give the ball back to them and have to hold our breath. The defense didn't have to win the game. The offense ended it and iced it today, which was really nice.
Yeah. And it was a big chunk play because on first down, instead of running and keeping the clock running, we got 20 yards and we got to midfield. And now all of a sudden, now we can run, get a first down, get another one. You get into field goal range where you can go back up 10, and we ended up getting the touchdown. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you 100%. Aggressive play calling. But you know what? Maybe before they couldn't call a lot of these plays because of Joe's health. Now, because Jake talked about how the pass protection has been good all year, but we didn't have the threat of Joe running. So teams could keep him boxed in. So
yeah, I want to mention one thing. Riley, I want to hear what Riley has to say in a moment, but I want to mention one thing. Devin needs to start calling people out, continuing to call people out, I should say. Mike Hilton has had 2 great games since you called his ass out on the as when we had our bye week show. I mean, he was balling out today.
Yeah.
Good game.
Go.
Riley, what'd you see today? You watch a game a little differently like Jake and Devin do sometimes.
I do want to mention we've been complaining about him more or less since week 2 when he got hurt. T. Higgins 5 for 6 receptions for 69 yards. Not a huge game, but major improvement.
Yeah.
We don't need him breaking open when we have Chase for 100, Boyd for 40, and then we have 3 guys in the 20s. We don't need him having a 100-yard game. But 13.8 yards per reception is huge.
So,
And talking about huge, Irwin had
I was just going to say,
big one across the middle
On the
that he
last
went for
drive, he had
12
two.
extra yards. Yeah, well, he
I
had
was
2
going to say
catches.
Boyd and Irwin
Yeah.
over the middle.
Mhm.
We
Did anybody
finally
get
kept
dinged
saying,
up?
why aren't we taking advantage of the middle of the field? And today, Boyd and Irwin, we did take advantage. And when Chase goes out, it just clears everything out for Irwin.
Yeah.
And I love Irwin. He's just a gutty, he gives you everything.
Did somebody get hurt on that last drive for Irwin to be in? I can't imagine we were in a 4 wide receiver set. Why was Irwin even in over Higgins, Jamar, and Boyd?
I was
Anybody?
wondering the same thing, but
I don't know.
I didn't.
Chase was on the field because they used him as a decoy on that play.
Right.
Which by the way, they were first of all, Jamar with 12 targets, that's what needs to happen. Like Justin Jefferson gets
Right.
13, 14 targets every game. And sometimes last year when Jamar was working his way back from injury, and even in the playoffs, they were not targeting him that much. They're using him in screens a lot more. But now what they're doing with Jamar, which they teased at last year, and it didn't really always work, but now it is using him as a decoy, setting him up in the backfield,
Right.
but more so moving him inside, which Romo he was drooling over it all
Right.
game. He's like, oh my God, Jamar Chase, this guy moving inside. You could use him as a decoy. And he's right. Because it spaces him out, or it spaces us out. It condenses everybody else, because if you're going to double Jamar and he's on the inside, you have to put a linebacker on him, and the middle of the field gets wide open. And that's exactly what happened. So yes, that's the only schematic thing that I am excited about. But the evolution of Zach Taylor has been a real thing post-bye now 3 years in a row.
Right.
And he does work really well with Callahan. Like I'll say all these bad things about Zach Taylor, and you guys can say all the things about the play calling today. I'll to my grave, I will say, if Joe Burrow's healthy, it's him. Like it's like they had a good plan, but it's Joe. Like it's always Joe. But on the schematic side of things, they have done a much better job this year, moving Jamar inside strategically, still getting him much more targets. And overall, it's just, this was the 2022 Bengals. This was the post-bye 2022
Right,
Bengals that we saw.
right. Which
So other
we
than
all
the-
enjoyed at Vegas, coming out, and that was after the first game out of the bye. So,
Oh, this was way better. Oh my
no,
God.
but I still,
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh my
have
God.
that feeling
An
now.
ugly game. Yeah.
I have that feeling now where we can stack some wins here.
Yeah.
Other
And
than the
this team-
W, the biggest thing out of this game, for my opinion, was just staying healthy going into the Bills game now.
And I will be here Thursday or Wednesday or whenever the hell we do it.
Yes.
It doesn't change. The Bills suck. The Bills
Bills
suck.
looked good on Thursday night. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, Jake. They look good.
So,
Well, we don't have Baker Mayfield playing quarterback, and we don't have
yeah, they weren't
Todd
playing that.
Bowles coaching.
That's
Yeah.
true. I got one more point I want to make, and I'm surprised nobody's said it yet. They take the ball first.
Riley.
start the game. First down, McCaffrey picks up 8.5 yards. They stuff him on second down and third down, force a punt.
Right.
Kind of felt something like that's a big deal.
It was a big
Extrapolate
deal.
that over the course of the game. Christian McCaffrey got his fantasy points, ran for 57 yards,
Including 50
Yeah,
garbage yards on that
Right,
drive
but
with
that's-
20
but
seconds left.
Right.
No, but
How about Shanahan, by the way? Shanahan wants those garbage yards. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny,
But-
though.
McCaffrey got his fantasy points. He had over 20 points in fantasy because he got 2 touchdowns. He had 6 receptions for 60 yards. Christian McCaffrey, who is arguably the best player in the game right now, was
Right.
not a factor in this football game. And that's huge.
Right. Well, everybody was touting about how McCaffrey had more touchdowns than the entire Bengal team coming into this game. And you know what? I like where we're headed. We're on a 3-game winning streak, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. So I kind of like, you can give McCaffrey all the stats you want. It's about W's and where you are. And this does not look like the same team. I sat there in the airport in Arizona after we won and watched them dismantle the Cowboys. This is not the same team right now. Not
Yeah,
by any
and-
stretch.
This is obviously a Bengals show, and I'll just mention something. Seeing the Cowboys put the hurt on the Rams today was kind of nice.
But you know what? I want to say this, Justin. Purdy, God, I've not seen a guy. He is so elusive. I
Yeah.
know he's not super fast, but there were so many times we should have had sacks on him or hits on him, and he not only got away, but he got first downs. I put down here, Purdy is very good at extending plays. It's exactly what I put on my notes. Frustrating to watch when you're, Sam Hubbard and letting him get around you, and then you're just looking at his back of his jersey.
I hope that he hit his head hard when Reeder and Hendricks tackled him. I hope his head bounced. I hope he's okay.
Yeah,
was just about to mention that. We were all shocked when he got cleared. It was not looking like he was going to play. He did take a big hit, and I don't know if the broadcast showed it. I saw it on Twitter from a reporter who was at the game. He was pointing to his head after coming off the field after that sack.
Oh, really?
So we'll see, because the league should be scared of what went on with Tua last year and them continuing to play him truly concussed. And I'm not a doctor. Purdy post injury in the Vikings game, stats they plummeted. He was terrible, lost them the game, and he did not look like himself today. The footwork was off. But what was off the most was his anticipation. I said last year, this guy, his anticipation and his footwork is among the best in the league. He normally not only throws guys open, but looks at guys. The way he looks at receivers, he gets them open. Wasn't really doing that, especially in the second half after he took a couple hits. So I would not be surprised at all if Brock Purdy was not playing even close to 100% today.
Right. I was surprised.
Next week.
And I even tweeted it out. I said, for Purdy's sake, I just hope we don't have a replay of the Tua game, because the Tua hit that we put on him was a very routine sack.
Well,
but
so
he
was this one today.
The week before at the Bills game, so he shouldn't have been out there. And I kind of felt like they rushed him through the protocols, and I just didn't want to have the same kind of thing happen.
And you know what? It was a clean hit. It was both clean. I mean, they call it a penalty on it because Reeder was a little low on them, but other than that, it was a clean tackle, and he hit his head just like Tua did that time. So I'm hoping. Hey, real quickly, hope Kirk Cousins is okay. They're looking like that. He tore his Achilles.
Yeah,
he did.
He did.
Yeah, it's torn.
Yeah.
Never want to see a person get hurt out there.
Yeah. I will say one more thing. So the final stats, I'm a big yards per play guy. The Niners did finish with 8.2 yards per play, but that Mickey Mouse drive at the end of the game, 69 yards on 2 plays. So if you take those out, it's about 6.97 yards a play, which is still more than us. Passing defense was not good today. I get Logan and Pratt got interceptions, but they were really late to their reads, dropping back in cover 2. That's why Kittle had such a big game. Don't think whoever was on Ayuk most of the game, I think they switched off him, especially when CTB went out. Ayuk got open a couple times, a lot for big gains, so they'll have to clean that up. But that's about it. I mean, I trust Lou.
I was gonna mention Ayuk. Ayuk got a lot. I mean, he only had 5 receptions for 109, so he averaged over 50, but he gained 15 to 30 yards every time he touched the ball.
But to our defense, a lot of those were on where Purdy was scrambling and got those, just found an open man. But I will say Romo kept talking about it. We were taking 5 up on the line to stop the run. It's what he was saying. You're gonna be stuck with man to man or a linebacker covering somebody. So we gave up those yards, but you know what? We didn't let him score.
Didn't hurt. And Brandon Ayuk, McCaffrey, George Kittle are really good football players.
Well, and here's the takeaway from today too. Battle is better than Scott, because Scott was out on the field. There was a 2nd and 18 after we got them in a 1st and 20 after a holding penalty. They got 2 yards. 2nd and 18, and Scott was the one out of position on the that gave up the 32 yards to Kittle. So at Battle, I thought when he was on the field, he made the most of his play. So hopefully we're seeing that kind of transition, because to me, Scott's been very disappointing. So I'd like to see Battle be our starter going forward.
By the way, I know we talk about it every week, and I know Jake had a really good argument a couple weeks ago when we made it. Did Miles Murphy, did he have any snaps today?
He's not going to play much this year until someone goes out.
I know. He had 1 tackle. He had 1 solo tackle, but that's it.
Oh. All right.
I thought we were going to get a heavy dose of Miles Murphy for the next couple of weeks when Hendrickson went out.
Yeah.
No,
so
I'm thinking the same thing.
One more thing about Purdy from me because Heath mentioned that he was really good off script today, which is very true. Makes some part of me think that they were preparing to face Sam Darnold all week because Sam Darnold can't do that. And it maybe looked like they were surprised because on that touchdown to McCaffrey, the passing touchdown, Logan Wilson had him and then he bolted towards Purdy. He just left McCaffrey wide open. So I don't know if part of the defensive plan was to kind of keep Purdy in the pocket, expecting it to be Sam Darnold.
Right.
And Purdy ended up playing and made a lot of plays off script, which Darnold wouldn't have been able to do.
Right.
Jake, to that point, they had a really good replay of, I want to say it was the play before that, when Purdy threw across his body to George Kittle.
Right.
Same thing.
I mean, if he threw that ball, I'm saying that's going to get picked because that's never a smart throw. And as soon as Kittle caught it, I'm like, how did he get so open? They had a replay where you saw two guys that had Kittle covered. And as soon as
they
Purdy
went to Purdy.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Guys
CTB and Logan.
Wide open.
Yeah.
Well, and to
Yeah.
that point, we also saw a couple times, 2 or 3 times at least, where the linemen didn't expect that either. They expected him to run because they had illegal man downfield at least 3 times on the flag. One end the game, but still, there was 3 times where they expected Purdy to run those out, and he didn't.
Right. Well, there was a penalty on the Pratt interception. Was illegal man downfield because he's extending the play in the line.
That was great hands by him, by the way. That was a nice tip.
Oh,
That was yucky. That was really yucky
if he had stayed in
in a
bounds,
good
he would have
way.
returned it.
in a good way.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
He's about 10 pounds lighter. That's a touchdown, probably.
yeah, there you go. So, well, no, fun game today. All right, well, we got the Bills coming up. We're gonna start stacking them. You're kind of, this is why I hate the strength of schedule statistic. I just hate it because we pick our games early on, but the Niners are not, and the Bills we're getting are not. And then you have the Steelers today got hurt, so you look at the next 3 games coming up, we could start stacking some wins here. So
by the way, something happened in the Mile High today too. But
yes, we didn't talk about that.
I was gonna say, not only the Chiefs come back, everybody, Pittsburgh and Cleveland lost. We're tied for second, a game out of first. Like, Dolphins are gonna lose a couple. I'm not gonna. It's not too early to start talking 1 seed, but things look good for Bengals and the Bengals.
No.
Yeah, just
hey, by the way, Devin, show us. You've been talking about it on the show a couple weeks ago. There it is.
Joe knows.
It's dirty, it smells, but it gets worn every Sunday, boys.
Let's do it. All right,
Yep.
Mark, let's check out where the boys, where you can find the boys. And
Jake, remind everybody where they can find your stuff.
Jake Circus Podcast, Monday, Wednesday on Spotify. We'll be back here Thursday. I'll have to find another pick because we went 2-1. So, I you know what? I might go with my Tigers. We'll see. Big game in Athens.
Look at the stuff. We'll do it this week. Riley, tell them where they can find you.
Check me out on Twitter at sportsball with 3 L's. And didn't post a whole lot this week, but we're right in midterms, so just trying to get back to it.
There you go.
It's
a new account. It's Riley's new account. Give him some follows. Some of my followers. Jake's got. We all have a decent amount of followers. Throw some love Riley's way. So we'll be doing our preview show as we always do. It'll be either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how our work schedules are. Looking forward to talking about the Bills. And Jake will be giving you this last week. He gift wrapped the Arizona and Arizona State for you on money line. So it's
The
worth
Copper State coming through.
Those are called winners. When someone gives you a plus 168 or a plus 150, money line, those are winners, gems. So definitely. And that's why you want to subscribe and you want to hit the bell so you know when our show goes up so you can get Jake's picks there. So
I will say one more thing because this never ever happens to me because I never take 10-point dogs ever. But on the Wednesday show, I do the segment Dog of the Week, college football. Me and my partner Jonathan, we always take one dog to win outright. My dog of the week, I went big this week, and I did take KU as my dog of the week this week.
That was all right.
So tune into the Wednesday show for the dog of the week.
It's Wednesday or Thursday. We don't know when they come up.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. This is a show by fans for fans. We all do something else during the week for a living, just like the NFL referees, right? Don't they all have second jobs? So we'll be recording this week. So please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up. And hey, enjoy Sunday Night Football tonight. I'm sure they have nothing but good things to say about us. So,
hey, Houday, baby.
Houday. Take care, everybody.
Houday.
Houday.